What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel, and today I'm making NFL Week 16 picks, so let's hop into it. And if you like this type of content, please consider subscribing. It would really mean a lot. But anyway, last week my record was 10-6 picking NFL games, so not too bad. And that brings my overall record to 132-92. And last week we seen a couple more teams clinch their playoff spot. The Ravens, the Cowboys, and the Eagles all clinched, as well as the 49ers clinching their division, but they clinched a playoff spot last week. And we also seen a handful of teams get eliminated from the playoffs. The Jets, the Titans, the Commanders, the Cardinals, the Panthers, they all joined the Patriots in being eliminated. So with only a few weeks left in the regular season, anything can happen. But let's just hop straight into the picks. And on Thursday night, we have the New Orleans Saints on the road at the Los Angeles Rams. And this is a huge matchup of 7-7 teams. And I do have the Rams winning this game. The Saints kind of sporadic this year, if you ask me. They've had some good games. They have some bad games. Sometimes their offense just can't get it going. And they're just kind of too all over the place for my liking. The Rams, on the other hand, they started off the season pretty slow, but they have gotten the ball rolling as of late. And with the door closed for the Rams to win the division, the wild card is their only way in. So this is really a must-win game for both of these teams. The Saints still have a shot at their division just because it is a weaker division, but I expect both of these teams to be fighting for their lives in this game. So I do think it'll be a really close game, and I do have the Rams winning it by a score of 27-24. And then we have a couple of Saturday games this week as well. The first one, we have an AFC North showdown between the 8-6 Cincinnati Bengals and the 7-7 Pittsburgh Steelers. And I do have the Cincinnati Bengals winning this game. Once again, here's another must-win game for really both of these teams. Both of them cannot win the division. It's going to come down between Baltimore and Cleveland, but both of them are still in the running for a wild card spot. Cincinnati does hold one of the spots. The Steelers, with a few losses the past few weeks, have fallen out, and they're on the outside looking in, but they are still in the hunt, and they have made the decision to switch to Mason Rudolph for this game. So Mitch Trubisky is heading back to the bench. The Bengals, they're playing really good. They're firing on all cylinders. And despite the Steelers being able to beat the Bengals in Jake Browning's first start, I do think this Bengals team is so much better than they were a few weeks ago when he took over this team. And I don't think they're going to have too much trouble on the road in Pittsburgh. And I really do think the Steelers are in jeopardy of having the first losing season under coach Mike Tomlin. But I have the Bengals winning this game by a score of 28-13. And then we have a Saturday night football game. This time it is the Buffalo Bills on the road at the Los Angeles Chargers, and I do have the Buffalo Bills winning this game. They're sitting at 8-6, still on the outside looking in, and the Chargers got absolutely demolished last week by the Las Vegas Raiders, allowing the Raiders to score 63 points on them. So with Justin Herbert being out, that Chargers team looked absolutely lost, and it really didn't help that they didn't have Keenan Allen either. But on the flip side of things, the Bills seem to be peaking at the right time. Another one of those teams that started out real slow this year, but they have definitely picked it up in the past couple of weeks. They beat the Chiefs, they beat the Cowboys rather convincingly, so they're playing hot right now. They're getting hot at the right time, and I think they just roll into LA and getting a pretty easy win against a banged up Chargers team while keeping pace in the AFC wildcard hunt. And I have the Bills winning this game by a score of 42-17, as I think it'll be another blowout game. Then moving on over to our Sunday slated games on Christmas Eve, we have the Indianapolis Colts on the road at the Atlanta Falcons, and I do have the Colts winning this game. The Colts are coming off a huge win against the Pittsburgh Steelers last week. The Falcons are coming off a loss to the Carolina Panthers, and they have decided that they are going to switch back to quarterback Taylor Heineke in hopes that they can maybe pull out the division, maybe just sneak into the playoffs. But that loss last week to the Panthers really hurt this Falcons team. The Colts, on the other hand, are playing really well right now, and their win last week propelled them into a three-way tie with the Jaguars and the Texans. So a win right here is huge for them, and I think they're going to get it done by a score of 20-10. Then we have the Seattle Seahawks on the road at the Tennessee Titans. The Titans lost in overtime last week to the Texans, and they got eliminated from the playoffs. Seattle, on the other hand, they got a huge win against the Philadelphia Eagles, and I have the Seattle Seahawks on the road winning this game. And because Seattle was able to get that win over the Eagles on Monday Night Football, they still have a chance at the playoffs, sitting at 7-7. They don't have a chance at the division because the 49ers have already won it. So very similar to the Rams, but the Rams do have the tiebreaker over them because they have beaten the Seahawks twice. So Seattle needs every win they can get down the stretch, and that starts right here with the Tennessee Titans. They have to be able to beat them if they want to stay alive, but I think they will be able to squeak this game out, and I have them winning it by a score of 23-14. Then we have an NFC North battle. We have the Detroit Lions on the road at the Minnesota Vikings, and I do have the Detroit Lions winning this game. The Lions are coming off a huge win against the Denver Broncos. They absolutely destroyed them. It was like 42-17, so they had no trouble taking care of business. The Vikings, on the other hand, they did lose in overtime to the Cincinnati Bengals in a game that really hurt their chances, just because if they were able to beat the Bengals, they still have two matchups against the Lions right here in week 16 as well as in week 18. So there was still a chance for them to win the division, but they are sitting at 7-7. So there still is a chance they can squeak into the playoffs. It's really a tight race in both conferences. But the reason I like Detroit right here over Minnesota is just kind of because of the Vikings quarterback uncertainty. They started quarterback Nick Mullins last week, and he turned the ball over a few times, really hurt the Vikings' chances. And I don't know if he's going to start again this week. I don't know if they've came to a decision on that or if it'll be Josh Dobbs or whoever. But regardless, the Lions are looking to lock up their first division title win, and I can't even tell you how many years. It's been forever. So I have Detroit winning this game by a score of 30-21. And then we have the Washington Commanders at the New York Jets, and this game is pretty meaningless. Both of these teams did get eliminated last week, so not really much to play for in terms of postseason wise, but a lot of players will be playing for their jobs. A lot of coaches will be coaching for their jobs with a few games remaining this season, and I do have the New York Jets winning this game. There is still a slight chance Aaron Rodgers might want to come back and play, but if they lose this game, I highly doubt it. I bet he just waits till next year. But if they win this game, kind of show some signs of life on offense. They lost 30-0 last week against Miami. So if they show a little bit of something, maybe Rodgers will want to get out there. But really, there's not too much to talk about with this game. The Commanders, on the other hand, Sam Howell got benched last week. Jacoby Brissett came in. So they might have a quarterback decision to make with these last few games as well. But I think this will probably be a low-scoring game. It's one of the more low-scoring games of this weekend. And I have the Jets winning by a score of 17-14. Then we have the Green Bay Packers on the road at the Carolina Panthers, and I do have the Packers winning this game. They are sitting at 6-8. They are on the outside looking in. The Panthers, they beat the Falcons last week for their second win of the season, kind of spoiling the Falcon season a little bit, and I know they're looking to probably spoil Green Bay's if they get the chance as well. So Green Bay has to win. This is a must-win game for them. If they lose this game, their chances of making the playoffs are absolutely minimal. So with all that said, I do expect this game to be closer than expected, but Green Bay just pulling it out, and I have them winning by a score of 22-16. And then we have a pretty big AFC matchup here. We have the Cleveland Browns on the road at the Houston Texans, and I do have the Cleveland Browns winning this game. Despite all odds, despite all the injuries, they just keep finding a way to win. They're sitting at 9-5. They have the number 5 wild card spot. Even with a loss, they're still in a wild card spot. The Texans, on the other hand, they're sitting at 8-6. They're in a three-way tie for first place in the AFC South with the Jaguars and the Colts. So both of these teams really have a lot to play for in this game. Texans quarterback CJ Stroud is in concussion protocol as of the recording of this video. He did miss last week's game against the Titans, but Case Keenum came in, filled in, and got an overtime win. And I highly doubt CJ Stroud will miss this game. Normally a concussion's like a week and a half. I highly doubt that he's going to miss this game. So I'm assuming he will be playing in this game. So this game is just really huge for seeding. And if Cleveland's able to pull it out, there's still a chance that they can win their division. So really whoever wins this game is in really good standing in the AFC. And I think the Browns, they've just been finding a way to win all year. I don't think this game's going to be any different. I do expect it to be close. Myles Garrett hasn't had a sack in like 4 weeks. I know he's wanting to break that streak. So if he gets home a few times, that could really swing the things in Cleveland's favor, as I have the Browns pulling out this one by a score of 23-21. Then we have the Jacksonville Jaguars on the road at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and I have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers winning this game. Jacksonville, they've struggled. They've lost 3 straight. They had the Bengals, Browns, and Ravens, so 3 AFC North teams, and that's just tough on anybody, but they kind of limped through that. Now they have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and this game between these two teams is really a battle of first place in the South. Tampa Bay is looking to get first place in the NFC South. Jacksonville is also looking to get first place in the AFC South. So whoever wins this game will be in first place in their division. And Tampa Bay, Baker Mayfield's playing really good for the Buccaneers right now. And I think they pull off the upset at home. So I have them winning this game by a score of 24-20. Then we have the Arizona Cardinals on the road at the Chicago Bears. And this game means little to nothing. The Bears have a slim to none shot at making the playoffs, but there's still a chance. The Cardinals have been eliminated. So this is another game where really players are just kind of going to be playing for their jobs, coaches coaching for their jobs. But I do have the Bears winning this game. They probably should have won in Cleveland last week, but they kind of beat themselves. Their offense was able to do really absolutely nothing. Their defense scored a touchdown, then their defense set them up on the 1 yard line. So both the touchdowns they scored last week were pretty much straight from their defense. The Cardinals, they're sitting at 3-11. They have showed a little bit of signs of life. Kyler Murray came back. He's been fun to watch. And despite these two teams having losing records, this game could be a pretty fun one to watch with Kyler Murray and Justin Fields going back and forth. So with really not much on the line here, I do have the Bears winning it, but this could be a fun game, and I think it will be close as I have the Bears winning it by a score of 26-23. Then we have the 10-4 Dallas Cowboys on the road at the 10-4 Miami Dolphins, and I have the Miami Dolphins winning this game. The Cowboys got absolutely smoked by Buffalo last week in Buffalo. Now they have another AFC East opponent in the Miami Dolphins, and both of these teams have struggled against 500 teams this year. Yes, the Cowboys got a win a couple weeks ago against the Eagles, but outside of that one game, they have struggled, and the Dolphins, the same thing. So both of these two teams are really similar. They both play good at home. They both have explosive offenses that can disappear in some games. The Dolphins might be without Tyreek Hill again, but they still put up 30 on the Jets last week. So I'm not too worried about them. And I think this game's going to be a shootout. I think it could be the highest scoring game of the week. How is this game not a primetime game? I'm not really sure about it. I think it's a better primetime game than the Sunday night football game between the Patriots and the Broncos, but hey, it is what it is. But both of these teams are vying for the number one seed in their respective conferences. So a win here by either team is really huge. The Cowboys trying to catch the 49ers, stay ahead of the Eagles, the Dolphins trying to catch the Ravens, trying to distance themselves from Buffalo and win their division. So huge implications on the line here. And I think Miami just wins the shootout at home by a score of 35-31. Then on Sunday Night Football, we have the New England Patriots at the Denver Broncos. Patriots were the first team to be eliminated. The Denver Broncos lost to Detroit last week, and it drops them down to 7-7. They're on the outside of the playoffs looking in, but there is still a chance for them, and I do have them winning this game, and it is a must-win game for the Broncos. If they lose this game against the Patriots, they'll drop below 500. They'll fall a little bit further out of the AFC playoff race. So yeah, this is a must-win game for them, and the Patriots aren't going to make it easy on the Broncos here. And last week, the Patriots gave the Chiefs all they could handle in the first half. The Chiefs did end up kind of pulling away. So I don't expect the Broncos to go out there and do what Detroit did to them last week and just run away with this game. I expect the Patriots to make it tough, make Denver earn this win, but I do think the Broncos will be able to pull it out, but they definitely have to be careful. This could kind of be a trap game. The Patriots went into Pittsburgh and got a win, so Denver has to be super careful here, but I do have them winning by a score of 20-14. And then on Monday, Christmas Day, we have a few more games. We have the Las Vegas Raiders at the Kansas City Chiefs, and I do have the Kansas City Chiefs winning this game. The Raiders hung 63 points on the Chargers last week. The Chiefs did beat the Patriots. So both of these teams coming off wins. And the Chiefs have struggled this year. They're sitting at 9-5. The Raiders, they're sitting at 6-8. So they are on the outside looking in, but there still is a chance for them. And this is a must-win game for really both of these teams. If the Raiders lose, they'll be eliminated. If the Chiefs lose, there's a chance they don't even win their division and they'll have to be on the road in the playoffs. And it'll be the first time in Patrick Mahomes' career that happens. So a lot is on the line for this game. And funny enough, I actually got the score of the Chiefs Raiders right the first time. I don't guarantee I'm going to get it right this time, but I do have the Chiefs winning by a score of 27-23, as I do think it will be closer than it was last time. But I do see the Chiefs sweeping the season series. Then our second Christmas game, we have the New York Giants on the road at the Philadelphia Eagles. So an NFC East matchup, and I do have the Philadelphia Eagles winning this game. They are on a 3-game skid. They've kind of struggled. Their defense has struggled in third and long situations, I've kind of noticed the past few weeks, so they definitely have to clean that up. But the 49ers are starting to pull away a little bit. The Cowboys have identical records, so this is a must-win game for Philadelphia. And it's another game where if the Giants lose, they will be eliminated from the playoffs. But really, Philadelphia really just needs to clean up their act, get back on the winning path, and just put this 3-game skid behind them. The 49ers, a team that's already clinched their division, they went on a 3-game skid earlier in the year. They've turned it around, and they look unbeatable right now. So I wouldn't rule Philadelphia out of anything, but they need to win this game, and I think they do. I don't think it's going to be a super flashy game by any means, but I do have them winning it by a score of 24-10. And then our third Christmas game on Monday, it is Monday night. We have the Baltimore Ravens at the San Francisco 49ers, the battle of the number one seed in the AFC versus the number one seed in the NFC. As it is right now, that things could change. There's a few weeks left, but you get the point. Both of these teams come in with identical 11-3 records, and this should be a great game. And I do have the San Francisco 49ers winning it. The 49ers have looked unbeatable the past few weeks. They've been playing really good football. And not only is their quarterback and Brock Purdy in the MVP conversation, but so is their running back, Christian McCaffrey. but the Ravens have an MVP candidate in their own in Lamar Jackson. So this should be a very fun one to watch. And the 49ers have kind of struggled against the AFC North this year. They lost to the Browns, they lost to the Bengals. They were able to absolutely destroy the Steelers, but the Steelers suck something awful this year, so that's not really that big of a deal. But still, this should be a really good game. I expect it to be back and forth, relatively high scoring. And really, I think whoever wins this game cements themselves as the one seed in their conference, cements themselves as the best team in the league. And this could be a potential Super Bowl matchup, but only time will tell on that. But I expect the 49ers, they are at home, to just pull it out in the end by a final score of 31-27. So yeah, those are my NFL Week 16 picks. Please let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel. Have a Merry Christmas, be safe. I will catch you with another video. God bless.